Mortis Maledictum is a cosmic dark fantasy story, and as such may contain content not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Now, enjoy the show.
The bell! The dog stopped moving, and so did I. We were both momentarily frozen by the unnatural sound. The bell meant someone or something had reached the camp, reached Mal. I raced back up the hill. The same knots that had been hard to navigate before were now thick ropes of root laid out to trip me up, to keep me from reaching her. I opened my mouth to cry her name, but stopped. What was over the next ridge? What had found our camp? There were too many possibilities, and very few of them good. Breakfast wasn't just going to stumble into our mouths. I tightened the grip of my knife, tired fingers growing numb in the process. The last 100 feet or so were a blur of narrow trees and foot-trapping roots. The fires were closer, but they weren't here yet. Still, the flame brought other things, dark things, and she was alone. I'm coming, Mal. I wanted to scream that out, to tell my daughter I was close at hand, but something kept me from speaking. Something held my mouth. Fear. I reached the camp, and its tripwire, surprised to find the tiny filament still whole. Its stolen bell bobbing gently above the knotted ground. Was it the wind? The thought may have carried more weight had the winds returned, but they traveled with the fire and hadn't touched this part of the forest yet. I stepped over the cord, and I found her exactly where I'd left her. My Mal wrapped up in a ball of quiet slumber, her body covered in leaves and cheap blankets, while her mind remained blissfully unaware of the world unfolding around her, and the hungry canines standing over her. They were hungry, and the fire line flushed out food like us. I counted 4 of them, the tiny pack too focused on my daughter to turn their attention to me, at least for the moment. The acrid smoke that lingered in the air brought with it a renewed tension. The fire was coming. It was always coming. 1 against 4, but I had my knife and my wits. I spread my arms wide and took up the meager space my skinny body could. Then I let them have it. My words came out a mixture of fear and hatred. I hated this world and living in it. I hated that Mal would never know life without the fires. I poured that hatred into my words, into my hands. Get away from her! Momentarily startled, the animals hesitated, clearly unsure what to do. Mal may have looked like a tasty treat, but there was a bigger one, and he looked dangerous. I leaned into that look, waving my arms and stomping my feet. To the casual onlooker, I would have looked like I lost my mind or worse. But to these monsters, I wanted to appear too dangerous to mess with, to be something high on the burned edges of the food chain, and not worth their time. The closest canines backed off, unsure what to do, but unwilling to leave this slowly waking breakfast. Mal, wake up! My daughter did what most 5-year-olds did when they were tired. She pulled the blankets tighter to smother herself beneath a sea of leaves and fabric. The dog still didn't appear to know what to make of it, and this confusion gave me an advantage. It put wind in my sails and courage in my hands. I swung my knife back and forth, making sure their dark eyes followed the dull metal blade. You heard me. Go!
If you enjoyed this story and want to show your support with a modest contribution, you can find this story and other exclusive tales on our Patreon page. Lastly, join us in our community Discord server to hear about news, events, and giveaways like signed copies of the book. The links are down below. Thank you.